How good is it to hear Father Hesburgh's voice just one more time? Good evening and welcome to Notre Dame Day 2015. I'm Chris Collinsworth and you're watching a 29-hour global celebration of all things Notre Dame. We'll be here under the dome in our La Fortune studio. Got that right, didn't I? Streaming live around the world for the next 28 hours, and we invite you to join us for each and every one of those amazing stories that we have on the way. And you may know me as a former NFL player, maybe as the host of Sunday Night Football. What you may not know is I'm also a proud papa of two Golden Domers, Digger, not just one. I sent two up here. My boy Jack right here. Austin was the senior captain of the football team this past season, and life is good at Notre Dame. And the guy sitting next to me over here needs no introduction. Did you say that, Jack? I mean, this is a legend. This guy has lived in South Bend, Indiana, which I know has been a goal of yours for much of your life, has lived here for the past 44 years. 44. The greatest basketball coach in the history of God's green earth. Mr. Digger Phelps right there, ladies and gentlemen. A little round of applause. They got nothing for Digger. We got nothing.
It's like a home game my last year here at Notre Dame. No,
how are you, my friend?
I'm
Good
fine.
to see you.
I'm really fine. But let me go back to, you did a great job in that Super Bowl. And I know, we all know about that last play, what wasn't happening. But as a coach, I'll say it. Give it to the guy that just got you 8 yards and win the Super Bowl.
Marshawn Lynch probably would have liked to have seen the football at that point.
But let me throw this back, all right, because you haven't done anything since that Super Bowl. Right. And here you are with a young guy that's got the same mindset to maybe someday be a TV personality.
This guy's doing all the digital media stuff. I'll tell you when you know your son loves broadcasting. I can't get him out of bed with a forklift, right? At 6 a.m., he's going to all the football practices every day to do the live reports out there. My boy, Jack Collinsworth, what's up? Give me just a little bit.
So tough, man.
Well, I got to back it up a year because a year ago May, I do the orientation for the one-year MBA students. And I show up, and there's about 60 students there, and we're up in the stadium looking out on the field, and all of a sudden I see your son, Austin. And I'm going like, what are you?
Class?
No, this is orientation for the MBA program.
Oh, good.
And I'm going like, what are you doing here? He says, I'm getting my MBA. I said, you graduated? He says, yeah, I did it in 4. I got next year eligibility. Come back, be captain of the team, and get an MBA, which he receives in 2 weeks. So
and he did it all.
That's that side of the equation. Now I find out, the Notre Dame network, you are a sophomore getting into this business, and you got to be as a dad saying, you know what? I can remember being a receiver for Cincinnati, I think, in the heyday in the NFL.
Back in the day.
And now here's a circle where you got 2 sons at Notre Dame going into the real world.
Life is good, God is good, and thank you very much.
With everything,
it's magic.
Why Notre Dame?
You know it as well as I. This place is magic. You tell people that you've got kids going to Notre Dame.
They look at you.
They genuflect. They dig it. It's like it's the greatest thing. And so you got 1, and then you got 2, and it's like, it's all good.
All right, Jack, to me. Now, Jack.
Somebody bring a lighter so we can burn the script.
No,
I don't even know what the heck we're doing anymore.
No, here's your question.
Yeah.
From me and him.
Yeah.
Why did you decide with this whole digital media lifestyle for the now generation, this is where you want to go doing what you're doing now?
Well, I was hard set on going to Northwestern, and I told my dad he had the purple shirt on. The day that, I decided I switched over and decided I was going to come to Notre Dame, not because everything was going to be easy here, because I was going to have to make it work, and I knew that, but who else would you rather cover than the Notre Dame football team? So,
well, as we look out, Chris, this is the world, and here we got 28 more hours to let people around the world know the inside stories to what makes Notre Dame special.
Well, why don't we start on some of those inside stories? We'll tell a few more stories as we go along here, but let's send it out now to Justine Ward, who's in the South Dining Hall. And Justine, who you with out there?
Hey, that's right, guys. I am with Father William Daly and he is a Thomas More Fellow from the Center for Ethics and Culture. And then this is also Supreme Knight Carl Anderson from the Knights of Columbus. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. How are you doing today? We have a big award ceremony going on here today. If you want to tell us a little bit about the medal that we are receiving.
So the Evangelium Vitae Medal, as the name implies, comes out of the spirit of St. John Paul II's encyclical about the gospel of life. When Father Jenkins invited President Obama to campus in 2009, in a spirit of civility but also courage and engagement, he said to him that the university is unabashedly pro-life. This medal and award grows out of that, and it's a spirit of the Center for Ethics and Culture, which is a hub of Notre Dame's pro-life activities, giving what we think is the American Church's most important Lifetime Achievement Award for people who have tried to build a culture of life. And so we're very pleased this year to be able to honor Carl Anderson and the Knights of Columbus generally for their remarkable efforts over the years to build a culture of life.
And how does the Center of Ethics and Culture promote that culture of life that you are speaking of?
The Center for Ethics and Culture works internally within the university to bring together a variety of academic departments, of faculty, and of students. We've got a number of Soren Fellows. We took 700 students to the March for Life, led in the march by Father Jenkins, who celebrated Mass for them, and he's done that for a number of years. We also try to engage the media, so Carter Sneed, our director, has appeared in a variety of media publications. I, as the Thomas More Fellow, have. We try to engage the outside world as well as the internal community to build from within an esteem for the dignity of all human life.
Mr. Anderson, let's chat with you for a little bit about some of what the Knights of Columbus is doing.
Sure. Well, one of our big initiatives lately has been to put ultrasound machines in the crisis pregnancy centers so that women can actually see the child that is developing within them. We've put in over 500 ultrasound machines in the last 5 years, and we think they will save 1 or 2 babies a week, 50 weeks a year. That's 100,000 or more. So that's one of the pro-life initiatives we have. And of course, we've been here on Notre Dame for over 100 years with our student council. So to be on campus is always great, but to be here in this kind of an event, pro-life, with this great center for ethics and culture is a great privilege for us.
And a beautiful day on campus. So thank you very much, Mr. Anderson and Sir, for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, and we're going to send it back to you from South Dining Hall. This reception still going on. Let's check in back with you.
May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
We are the University of Notre Dame.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Day. I'm Digger Phelps, and joining me is one of the legends behind the scene. Yeah, he is the Newt Rockne of not just the Glee Club, but also the Notre Dame Symphony Orchestra. And the Glee Club, as we now know, has got a special anniversary coming up.
You bet. This is our 100th anniversary as a continuously operating ensemble. We started up in the fall of 1915, and we'll be inviting 500 members of our alumni base back in the fall for our centennial reunion.
And so what was it like when you did year one, Dan?
Oh, I missed that one, sorry.
No, but seriously, the Glee Club's special. And what they have done and achieved over the years has just been incredible for the university.
And I've been honored to be a part of it.
And next to us, we have Michael Allen Anderson, who has an objective to tell the real story behind the scenes by writing a book about the Glee Club.
That's right. I've written a book celebrating the centennial and recounting the starts and stops of the Glee Club dating back even to the late 19th century and surveying some of the outstanding conductors, one of whom is sitting next to me, of this group, and also the variety of repertoire and the tours that have taken them around the country and indeed around the world.
What do you think maybe been the greatest moment that the Glee Club has had over 100 years?
Well, one of the highlights for sure was 7 consecutive appearances on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Wow.
From 1949 to 1955 on
Wow.
Easter Sunday. So for 7 straight years, the Glee Club was a household name.
Dan, anything special coming up that we need to know about with this celebration?
It so happens we're fortunate that our schedule of European tours has aligned with our centennial, and so we're taking a 3.5-week trip, doing 15 concerts in 8 countries for 3.5 weeks. So right after graduation, we'll be heading out. So we give the guys another wonderful experience.
I must give a little sidebar to you because I'm another big fan of you, and you know why. And let me tell you something about this guy. If you've ever had the chance, and never had the chance, but get the chance to hear the Notre Dame Symphony Orchestra, close your eyes and you think it's Sir George Schulte leading the Chicago Symphony in Symphony Hall, because you know how I feel about what you do coaching that team.
You're too
They're
kind,
unbelievable. I really mean that. You've heard them. You know what we're talking about. And with the Glee Club and them together, wow, what an event for Notre Dame.
Well, we all benefit from the fact that we just have an extraordinary student body here. These are tremendously talented young people, gifted in so many ways, and one of those great gifts they bring to the table is tremendous musical ability.
But you find them from all around the country. I mean, I look at that stage, and you got over 100 up there.
We're so grateful they come to us. We do some recruiting. Part of our tours, the mission of the tours certainly is to recruit, but we're tremendously blessed to have this tremendous pipeline of gifted young people that want to be a part of it.
Are you going to Europe with them on this tour?
Not this time.
Oh, really? You've been there, done it?
Yes, I've been a couple times.
Okay. Tell me where in Europe you're going to be.
Well, we'll start in Italy. We'll do 3 concerts in Italy. We're going to move east from there, Ljubljana, Slovenia, and Budapest, Hungary.
Wow.
We haven't been to those countries. Then we'll head pretty much straight west through Austria and Germany and Switzerland and France, Paris, and then we take the channel over to London, and we'll spend a week or so doing a couple of concerts in the London area.
How many make the trip?
About almost 60 this year.
Wow.
We'll have. Yeah.
When's the book coming out?
The book will be out in September, and we'll have our centennial weekend on October 1st through 4th.
And we're doing a show here, obviously, at DPAC.
You bet. Actually, we're going to do it downtown at the Morris. Yeah, right.
Okay, and a book signing?
We'll do book signing on
One of the
campus.
football weekends? What weekend?
The centennial weekend is on a non-home game weekend, but we will be signing books before that for sure and have the Glee Club appear with us.
That's all part of the show. So listen, Dan, you're the best. You know that. I'm a big fan, and I just want to say that, Michael, for you to do this is a great honor for us at the university to have the real story told behind the scenes of 100 years of something special, the Notre Dame Glee Club.
Thank you.
Thank both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, back to Jack. Let's get it done, Jack. Where you at? Jack.
With the boys hanging out with the Glee Club, joined by Glee Club President, that is Stuart Straight, right beside me. What songs do we have on tap, brother?
We're going to start out with a barbershop song, Darkness on the Delta. We're going to follow that up with an Irish folk song, The Rocky Road to Dublin. And we're going to close it out with 2 of our favorites, the alma mater of our university and the greatest fight song ever written, the Notre Dame Victory March.
Amen to that. Best of luck, brother.
When it's darkness on the Delta, that's the time my heart is alight. When it's darkness on the Delta, let me linger in the shelter of the night. Fields of cotton all around me, voices singing soft and low. Lord, I'm lucky that you found me where the muddy Mississippi waters flow. Lounging on the levee, listen to the nightingale. Way up above, laughter on the levee. No one's heart is heavy. All God's children got someone to love. When it's darkness on the Delta, only heaven is inside. When it's darkness on the Delta, let me linger in the shelter of the night. Oh, let me linger in the shelter of the night. The merry month of June, from me home I started, left the girls of two, severely broken hearted, saluted father dear. Kiss me darling mother, drank a pint of beer, reaped the tears to swallow, then off to reap the corn, leave where I was born, got to stop my torn, to banish roast, and goblin a brand new pair of brogues, rattled all the bones, frightened all the dogs on the rocky road, to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, whack for Lord and love. In Dublin next to mine, I thought it such a pity to be so soon deprived of you of that fine city. When I took a stroll among the quality, me bundle it was stolen in each locality. Something crossed me mind, then I looked behind, no bundle could I find. On me sick, a wobbling inquiring for the road, they said my conic road. It wasn't much a book on the rocky road to Dublin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunts the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, whack for Lord and all. whack the Lord-in-law. The boys of Liverpool, when we safely landed, called me some a fool. I could no longer stand it, but began to do the temper. I was losing more than a time. They began abusing the Robbie boys. Shillelagh, some Galway boys were I saw I was a hobbling with the loud hooray. They joined in the affray and quickly laid the way for the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunts the hare and turner down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunts the hare and turner down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. Whack for Lord-in-law. For Notre Dame, we will fight in every game. Strong of heart and true to her name. We will never forget her and we'll cheer her ever loyal to Notre Dame. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame. Wake up the echoes cheering her name. Send the volley cheer on high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win over all. While her loyal sons are marching onward to victory. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame. Wake up the echoes cheering her name. Send the volley cheer on high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win over all. While her loyal sons are marching onward to victory. Onward to victory for Notre Dame.
And that was fantastic. Give a hand, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, that's the Notre Dame Glee Club. We're going to send it back up to Chris E.C., who's upstairs with one of the most famous doctors of all time. Dad, take it away.
Jack, I'm surprised you didn't start singing along out there, but we really appreciate it. And joined here in the studio by Dr. Rudy Navari, class of 1966. Dr. Navari is a world-renowned physician and cancer specialist, the former dean, the director of the Indiana School of Medicine, South Bend, and now director of the Cancer Care Program in Eastern Europe for the World Health Organization. Dr. Navari, really a pleasure and great of you to come back and be a part of this.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about maybe what first drew you to this campus. You came here as an undergrad, and now here you are all these years later coming back and doing so many wonderful things here.
Well, Chris, I was an undergraduate here and then actually got a degree here in chemical engineering, but I migrated to clinical medicine and migrated to medical oncology and cancer treatment because that really was my passion. I tell medical students that on their first day, if you want to make money, go to Wall Street, but if you want to take care of sick people, then you should do medicine. So I did medical oncology and did medicine because it was the thing that I really didn't want to go to bed at night. I really, when I woke up in the morning, I really wanted to, I couldn't wait to wake up to get to work, to take care of sick people. And oncology is my passion, and we're doing very well in cancer treatment today.
And let's start here at home first. The Harper Cancer Center, I believe, and is your pet project from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we were fortunate to start the Harper Cancer Research Institute. It's a partnership between Notre Dame and IU School of Medicine in South Bend. And Mike Harper gave $10 million and the state matched it. And so this program is on campus now, and it's working very well, recruiting very good scientists and doing basic cancer research on campus. And it's a partnership between the School of Medicine, Indiana, and Notre Dame.
Digger's telling me your goal is to have the top 10 physicians from around the world, and you're up to 4, I heard. Is that about right?
Well, we've been successful in recruiting people, very good people.
That's awesome.
And so it's attracting funds from the NIH and the NCI, so it's doing well.
Congratulations. Now, you also are with the World Health Organization now, and as much progress as has been made in this country with cancer treatment and some of the drugs, there are still issues in other parts of the world getting those drugs to them, right?
Right. So the drugs we use now in cancer treatment really didn't exist 5 to 10 years ago. The drugs we used 10 years ago didn't exist, we don't use today. And we're now improving survival in the United States. We're improving survival in Western Europe, but we're not improving survival in Eastern Europe and those countries because they can't afford the drugs. Our cancer drugs cost $10,000 a month. And so the World Health Organization instituted a program about 1.5 years ago and asked me to participate, in which we're partnering with the pharmaceutical companies to get these new cancer drugs to Eastern European countries at cost. And we've enrolled about 2,000 patients now over the past year, and we're starting to see some improved survival in those patients.
It's just spectacular, the work you've done, and you've also been so kind to the university. You're a philanthropist at the highest level, and if you would just talk a little bit about why South Bend, why Notre Dame, and why does it mean so much to you?
Well, I think the university is unique in the sense that they strive for academic excellence, and I think students who go here get a really very, very good education on par with Ivy League schools. The students here are interested in social justice and service. I think that besides academic excellence, Notre Dame's a real family, and people care about each other here, and they do a very good job of blending the faith of the Catholic Church with academic excellence and service. And so it's just a unique place, and it's a place that I think that we need to encourage and to support, and I think it continues to do very well.
The World Health Organization in Switzerland, where is that?
Yeah, so, well, they have multiple offices, but I work out of the Geneva office.
So Geneva, but your home is still in South Bend? That's a heck of a commute back and forth.
It's a long commute. So I spend about half my time in Geneva and half my time in South Bend. I travel a lot to Eastern Europe, and we've set up 10 or 12 cancer centers in Eastern Europe, and we're getting the new drugs to those patients, and so I'm very pleased that we're able to do that.
In a quick answer, what's next? What's next on the cancer front?
What's next and what's going on now is we are developing the knowledge of the genetics of every cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, and we're developing drugs against finding out what the genetics are and developing drugs to treat those cancers on the basis of genetics. And so we are in a very exciting time in cancer biology.
Dr. Navari, it's an honor to meet you, and we can't thank you enough for being here and for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go out to Justine now. Justine, where are you this time?
Hey, that's right. Well, we've moved. I'm now in the Morrison, and I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing lots of people painting, I'm seeing some wine, and I'm seeing some cheese. And so we are actually joined by Joe And Joe, what is going on here?
So Justine, great to have you here, and we're thrilled to have the Notre Dame Day audience with us here at the Morris Inn. Tonight we've got our brand ambassadors that are students as part of the Morris Inn that have taken over our social media accounts. And so they've arranged a whole group of their other students in tonight with You Can Paint Too as a local company here. And we're just having a great time painting, smiling. And now, if you haven't seen the Morris Inn since its renovation, now this beautiful new ballroom, which, you might have thought it was the tent back from when you graduated here.
Talk about the beautiful ballroom, and if any of you have not been in the Morris Inn since it's been updated, it is absolutely gorgeous. So speak a little bit about all those updates that we did make.
It's a fabulous renovation, over $30 million spent, going from the 90 small rooms to 150 world-class 400 square foot rooms. 2 weeks after we opened, we were just thrilled to be able to get the AAA 4 Diamond rating. So it put us in the top 5% of all the hotels nationwide. And what that does is sort of puts us in that 95th percentile with the students, which is kind of fun as well.
And let me tell you a nice touch I noticed in my room. I have an iPad, own personal iPad in my suite. So touch a little bit. Can I get on the iPad? What can I do on the iPad?
Sure. Every room has its own custom iPad, 7 different newspapers, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, obviously the Observer here on campus. But you can get on, whether it's order room service, surf the web, be able to sit back and relax and watch just Here Come the Irish one more time playing in your room.
And Here Come the Irish. Are we gearing up for a big fall season ahead?
We're excited. We're going to be undefeated, there's no doubt, and absolutely just a great time here on campus. Great summer conference season as you think of the Notre Dame Conference Center, connected with an underground concourse, which if you haven't seen it on this trip, you should. Beautiful seasonal murals along with the 10 different colleges here on campus featured all the different messages from the deans. Just a neat way for us to partner with just the academic mission on campus.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Joe, from the Morris Inn. And as he said, undefeated next season. Will we see it? We don't know, but we are going to go to commercial break. We'll be back after this.
My son Marlon is 5 years old. He didn't have to live through Hurricane Katrina. He didn't have to see his entire city flooded. He didn't have to leave his home and wonder if he'd ever return. He didn't have to watch bodies floating and wondering if there were people we knew. He didn't have to experience what I did. And my hope is that he never will.
Through the development of advanced storm surge modeling, Notre Dame professor Johannes Westerink is helping guide the Army Corps of Engineers in the reconstruction of the New Orleans hurricane protection system.
Storm surge is the rising water that's driven in by hurricanes, winds, and waves. During Hurricane Katrina, an unprecedented level of storm surge developed, and it simply overwhelmed the levees. At Notre Dame, we're able to pinpoint exactly what went wrong during Katrina and also what can go wrong during hundreds of future storms.
Utilizing the results from Dr. Westerink's lab, the Corps of Engineers has redesigned the levee and gate closure systems that protect Greater New Orleans.
Dr. Westerink has been a vital source to rebuilding of New Orleans, not only for the short term, but the long term. His contributions have been absolutely astounding.
What inspires me is a sense of discovery, a sense of improving technologies, and ultimately helping people live better and safer lives.
The University of Notre Dame asks, what would you fight for?
Fighting to protect my city.
We are the Fighting Irish.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Day. I'm Chris Collinsworth, and I'm joined here in the studio by Dr. James Schmiedler from the College of Engineering. Dr. Schmiedler is an associate professor in the Department of Aerospace and Mechanical Engineering. And please, Jim, tell us a little bit about what drew you to this beautiful campus here, because you now are turning into a bit of a lifer around here, aren't you?
That's right. I was an undergraduate here. I studied mechanical engineering. I was from the class of '96. And I took a course my junior year that was a required class for all mechanical engineers from a guy I work with now, Professor Mike Stanisic. His office is down the hall from mine now, and it really got me excited about robotics and designing robotic systems. And so he encouraged me to go off to graduate school and get a PhD in the area. And I did that. I've been away taught a few other places, and I've been back here on the faculty 7 years this fall.
So talk a little bit about this remarkable field. We have seen robotics go from sort of a Lost in Space episode when my generation, maybe a few people remember that out there, to something that is very commonplace in the world of business and putting automobiles together and whatever.
Yeah, it's really taking off, and we're seeing it in manufacturing applications. We're seeing it in healthcare. You'll see stroke patients doing robot-assisted rehab these days. We would do a little bit of research here at Notre Dame in that area. You'll see human augmentation with exoskeletons for military, for manufacturing, and for healthcare. You'll see some folks out there probably have a robot vacuum in their living rooms, right? That's the number one selling.
That's called me in our house, but yeah, go ahead, yeah.
But and it's only going to grow. You know, I think the internet made a huge splash 10 years ago, and I think robotics is poised to make a splash of that nature here in the next 10 to 15 years.
We've got a sample here of it looks like one of the kids' Christmas presents or something, but I would imagine this is a little more advanced. Look at this.
That's right. We do walking robots in my lab. This one's going to get back up on its own.
He's going to backstroke it.
Yeah. This one plays soccer. If you can see the ball. And we didn't build this robot. You'll notice the way it walks is very mechanical. It's very much a robotic type gait. And what we're interested in my lab is teaching robots and building robots that walk in a more human-like way. And one of the reasons we're interested in that is we'd like to help build better powered prostheses for amputees.
Oh my goodness.
And we'd like to solve the power problem. This one's got a big battery here in the back. And just like driving your car, power consumption is a major problem for robotics. And so we'd like to walk in a less mechanical way, a less robotic way, and a more human-like way. And that's a real push in the field of robotics today, is to make human-robot interaction easier and make robots that act in a more human-like way so that humans can anticipate what their behaviors will be.
So prosthetics at some point in time may be a little bit more of like the actual human hand or leg?
Sure. I think if you had, God forbid, an amputation today, the standard practice is to get a non-powered prosthesis, which simply can't replicate the function of your muscles. There's some great people working in that area. We do a little bit of work that translates from our robots into that area to look at how do we return that human to as much functionality as they had before the amputation. And as you can imagine, carrying a battery pack in your prosthesis all day long is a problem. And so you want to have that device that is optimized for you and is optimized to minimize the amount of energy it consumes so that you can wear it all day and get the benefit from it all day.
I've been to Walter Reed Hospital a couple of times with some of those brave men and women, and the idea that maybe one day they could not have a bit of that gait that comes from, but it's incredible already what they're doing.
It is. It's truly remarkable. And we're fortunate here at Notre Dame. We do some work with Memorial Hospital right here in South Bend, some really fantastic physical therapists there. We do balance therapy research with them. We're actually using the Nintendo Wii Balance Board for that work, just because it's an inexpensive device that people could take home and that any clinic in the U.S. could have. And so it lowers that cost barrier for improving the rehab outcome for those patients.
So you're a little bit of a gamer as well. You're not that old of a guy now. You probably like that Wii game a little bit.
I'm lucky. I work with some folks in computer science, and they're the real gamers on that project here at Notre Dame, and we work with some psychologists as well. And they're the folks that really, get inside the motivational pieces. I do the human biomechanics, so everybody's got a role to play.
All right, speaking of human biomechanics, I understand that, we have a little bit of a focus on football here in South Bend as well. We kind of like our football around here. I understand that we have a robot that actually has completed a forward pass now?
We've got a great program for our seniors in mechanical engineering. They've been building these wheeled robots that play a makeshift football game. And so if anybody's been here for the blue gold game, any of the previous years, we've been having for about the last 5 years a robot blue gold game. And then we went intercollegiate on it. We've played Ohio Northern University 4 times now. We've split 2 and 2. It's a classic home and home series. I just took the Notre Dame students down there to Ada, Ohio this this spring for the game there. We won the away game to tie the series 2-2. And a couple years previous to that, our quarterback, which throws the ball basically with pitching machine wheels, it's a robot, completed the first pass in robot football. It's a great activity. It's a great challenge for our students to design these. And then at the end of the game, any of the younger kids that are there to watch the game come out and drive the robots and get excited about the science behind it themselves.
Well, it has been fantastic. I love that you're keeping Notre Dame on the cutting edge, and who knows, maybe I'll get a chance to call a robotic Super Bowl at one time.
We would love to see that happen. That'd be fantastic.
Dr. Spieler, great seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Jack?
And get a little education out here today. We have coming up now, back in 2008, it was Charlie Bueller became the first African-American woman to win the title of Miss South Dakota and represent her state in the Miss USA pageant. Now, in 2011, she graduated from Notre Dame with a dual degree in American Studies and Film. Now she's chasing her dream as an independent filmmaker. Gotta love it. Welcome to the show. Charlie, let's talk about winning Miss South Dakota, though. How was that? Was that one of your dreams for a while?
It was something that I did in high school. I did Miss Teen South Dakota, and then on a whim, when I was a sophomore, I entered into the Miss South Dakota pageant again, and I won. So it wasn't really a dream, I would say, but it was just kind of a hobby.
I got
turned
you.
into something bigger, yeah.
So how did the classmates react when they, found out you were Miss South Dakota, all that? How did they react?
They were excited. They didn't know that I did that sort of thing. So I came back and I had won, and they were like, "What's this? You're Miss South Dakota?" They were so supportive and excited for me, and I ended up having to take a semester off to do Miss USA. And a lot of people came down to Vegas and they watched me, and it was exciting. They were excited for me.
So is there a lot of duties that go along with that, and then you have to maintain, a little bit of the stuff with being a student at Notre Dame that just takes just a little bit of your time? How tough was the balance there?
It was, since I took a semester off, I had a lot more time. But I had to do a lot of charity work and go to different events and give speeches. So yeah, there was a lot that went with it. So I took up a whole year, and then I ended up graduating a semester later.
Okay. So you recently directed and produced a short film, I see. So how did that project come about?
Well, I was an FTT major, so I knew I always wanted to do film. I knew I always wanted to direct. So when I got to LA, we did a Kickstarter, and I directed a short film that one of my best friends wrote, and we brought 14 people to South Dakota, and we shot it there.
That's awesome. So what was it like for you to go from, kind of being in front of the camera, doing all that, to now transitioning and going behind the camera? Was it hard?
I think it's a natural transition. I did theater at Notre Dame. I did a double concentration in theater and in film. And it was something I always knew that I wanted to do, so that's why I came. And I think every single, every facet kind of informs each other. So I didn't really find it that difficult to make that switch.
I understand now you're working on a new film. So what's that called, and where are you at in the process so far?
It's called The Great Silence, and it's a feature film. We've already shot the first and second act in South Dakota. It's an independent feature, and it was a lot of the same people that did my short. So we've done part of it. We're all coming back to South Dakota to shoot the last portion. So we're working on it.
I love it. So thanks for joining us. Just quickly, where can our viewers find all of your work?
They can find out more about my feature at thegreatsilencemovie.com, and we also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/thegreatsilence.
All right, sounds good. We're going to send it back over to Double C. Dad, who you talking to now, man?
Well, Jack, when we come back, we're going to hear from a Notre Dame student who is making art out of something you probably wouldn't expect. Find out more in just a minute, right after the break.
My grandfather loves to fish. There's nothing he enjoys more than being out on the water. He always tells me that the big one's still out there. But now he's losing the ability to do what he loves. My grandfather is going blind.
The goal of our research is to be able to restore sight to those individuals who have lost their vision.
So there's no proliferating.
Notre Dame professor David Hyde conducts groundbreaking research using adult stem cells from zebrafish. His work, in collaboration with other Notre Dame scientists working with adult stem cells, aims to discover therapies and cures for diseases and conditions such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and blindness.
We focus our work on zebrafish because these stem cells, which reside throughout the zebrafish, have the natural capacity to regenerate specific tissues and organs, unlike humans and other mammals. If we can understand how this regeneration process occurs within zebrafish, we can find ways to induce a similar sort of response in humans.
As a Catholic university, Notre Dame is committed to cutting-edge research that respects the dignity of human life from conception to death and does not engage in human embryonic stem cell research.
The work that Professor David Hyde does is just one example of our innovative approach to research. We believe that Notre Dame's groundbreaking discoveries will be the future of stem cell research.
I'm just really proud that I can be part of Notre Dame and the fact that they're helping do this research on blindness, especially when it's affecting people like my grandfather.
The University of Notre Dame asks, what would you fight for?
Fighting to restore vision.
We are the Fighting Irish.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Day. I'm Chris Collinsworth, and I'm joined by my new hero, Kathleen Dooley, a Notre Dame sophomore from California who was diagnosed with a brain tumor at the end of her junior year of high school. But rather than be defeated by her diagnosis, Kathleen called upon her creativity and talents to do something quite unique. And Kathleen, welcome to Notre Dame Day. And I love you already. I know enough of this story now. I love you already. But tell us a little bit about that day you got the diagnosis and how it impacted you.
Well, so like you said, I was diagnosed just near the end of my junior year, a week after turning 17. And coming from Southern California, most of my friends don't want to leave the beach coast community when they go off to college. And I kind of gained this fearlessness to go after all of the things that I had wanted. My grandfather grew up in South Bend, and so Notre Dame had always been kind of in the background. And I realized it was a dream of mine, and I made it happen. And the day I got that letter, I really attributed it to the journey that I had taken, the essays I had written, and the battle I had fought, to get there.
Well, we have some of the brain scans here that you turned into basically pieces of art.
My senior year, I was in a pretty demanding studio art class, and I had a brain surgery scheduled, actually, which was later canceled, but I got kind of let off the hook of the demanding art projects I had to do, and instead just kind of got to do what I wanted. And so I started taking the scans and making them into art. And as I saw it, an artist reaches certain peaks in their artistic career, and though they aren't always about skill and talent, they're about ingenuity and they're, how authentic you can be. And so, this was something that was affecting my life every single day. And so I got to do really cool stuff with that, and it was great.
When you combine creativity, which obviously you have a lot of that, with emotion, which had to be an incredible amount of emotion tied into this, you came up with something that inspired others, and I'm sure you've impacted other people's lives with the way that you've handled this yourself.
Well, I've always been pretty introspective, so this was definitely a new challenge and, self-searching, but I think because I was able to make art out of that, I was able to kind of communicate what I was going through to other people, and I've always had a pretty fiery sense of humor, so I think that helped a lot. even the day after being diagnosed, I was making jokes about it right and left. So, you know, just making it something that was accessible to myself through the ways that I knew how, and then to other people through, you know, a sense of humor and my art and things like that.
Now, at Notre Dame, obviously, everybody, it's quite the community here. And so how can you communicate your art to others and help inspire them to maybe take some hard times in their life and communicate it and help other people with their art as well?
I think, you know, everyone always says that I'm so strong and they couldn't have dealt with it, you know, in the way that I do. And people look at my parents and think that they're absolutely insane for sending me 2,000 miles away from home with all of these things. But I think I can be an example of life for people and, you know, show everyone that, you know, we're really a lot braver than we give ourselves credit for. And we have such an amazing, like, pool of creativity within us, you know, whatever medium that can shine through. And you just have to push yourself to do things that are kind of scary sometimes and push yourself out of your comfort zone. And, you know, all these kids here at Notre Dame are such smart people and they've been raised by great families and things like that. But until you kind of push yourself to the edge and have your parents, you know, really trust you, and you're not going to get to that next level. And so that's what I hope to inspire here.
You are a spectacular young lady and absolutely Notre Dame's finest. And we can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you.
It's great to meet you. Well, what an inspiration that was. Now it's time to go back to La Fortune to check in on the voting at the Social Media Lounge. Take it away, guys, in the Social Media Lounge.
Thanks so much, Chris. Welcome back, everybody, to the Social Media Lounge. Unbelievable news to share with you from last hour. We have crossed the 5,000 gift threshold. Huge thank you to all members of the Notre Dame family that are out there, that clicked that gold give and vote button, that texted ND-Day to 8077. It's been an overwhelming response so far, but the job isn't done. You have those areas that you love at Notre Dame, those things that mean so much to you. Now's the time to start activating people you know, friends, family, aunts, uncles, parents, anybody that you think would say, hey, I'm really into this club at Notre Dame if I'm a student, or I was really into this when I was a student. You know, you have a chance to make a difference with that now by contacting as many people as you know and getting them on board. To give you a sense of where we're at with the leaderboard right now, not much has changed since last hour. Ultimate Frisbee still dominating on top. 1,200 votes. If the contest ended now, they would receive $66,000. Glee Club up next with 862 votes. There's a long way to go, though. We have just gotten started. It's literally anybody's game. We saw that last year. There were a lot of clubs that started very strong at the front, and then it turned into a horse race between residence halls at the end. Speaking of residence halls, St. Ed's and Morse are in a great battle right now. St. Ed's has 693 votes. Morse has 518 votes. There are tens of thousands of dollars at stake. So click that gold give and vote button. Text ND-Day to 80077. And hey, get your name up there. You can see it yourself, you can search, you can choose by category, find those things that are meaningful to you, make that gift, and make those 5 votes and find others to do it as well. Let's take it over to Sarah now to find out what's happening else in the world of social media. Sarah?
Well, Jonathan, we have more exciting things happening over here. I have the results from the very first photo poll. So if you recall, we were voting on your favorite song that the Notre Dame Glee Club sings. And the choices were, maybe one of these wasn't your favorite, but you only had 2 choices, Notre Dame, Our Mother, or Hike Notre Dame. And Notre Dame, Our Mother handily beat Hike Notre Dame with 91% of the vote. So if you recall, we had the photo poll in the last hour and we heard from the Glee Club. So if you're seeing what is next to me, hopefully you're getting excited because the next photo poll is, which is your favorite Bon Jovi song? Livin' on a Prayer or Wanted Dead or Alive. Again, plenty of great songs by this Notre Dame parent, but these are your 2 choices, and we will be hearing from him in the next hour. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm wondering if people are going to start talking about it on social media because they have been talking about the last poll and the last performance by the Glee Club. So let's step on back here to the social mosaic, and you can see this right on NotreDameDay.nd.edu. And in the last hour, we were hearing a lot of excitement about the unveiling of this shirt. And now we're seeing people already have purchased this shirt and are wearing it and lots of smiles. And what else is going on? Oh, we've been hearing from Notre Dame Engineering quite a bit. Oh, here's the shot of the Glee Club. Also heard from Howard Hall, and lots of pictures with Digger. So maybe that's going to be a new hashtag. I'm with Digger, but keep an eye on this. You can do that all hour long, all day long, right on the website. And then over here, so. A lot of activity on social media, a lot of lead up for this, and we've been encouraging participation from all the different groups on campus, and we've had a lot of fun from the Notre Dame clubs from around the world. And this little advertisement we just had to share with you because it was so creative coming out of the Notre Dame Club of Los Angeles. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, you know, she's kind of upset, she's got her coffee, and she's saying, I didn't know. I was 10 minutes into a promising first date when I got the bad news. He went to USC. And then down here it says, friends, don't let friends date Trojans, but if they do, there's Trojan A's. Read on to learn how. And so they're saying, you know, you can help the Notre Dame spirit and help bring new people into our family, and you help the Notre Dame Club of Los Angeles. So we have one new thing to show you in the social media lounge. Jonathan, what are you standing by?
So I'm here finally, as promised, the first ever social media vending machine in Notre Dame history. It's a live demo, which is always fraught with peril, but you text hashtag NDDay, you text the code that's on there. I'm going to tweet it right now, and it says it's vending. There are the M&M, just like that. Just unbelievable. The first ever social media vending machine. We've had queues of students waiting to use it all weekend long. I'm going to have some M&Ms now, and we'll see you guys again back at the top of the hour.